Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Toastmasters and guests, for being here. How many of you hate email? Right, a lot of you, some of you. Did you know that email is a time suck? It fills up all those spaces of your day, and PC Magazine says it can take up to 30% of our day. Think about that. We spend 30% of our lives in bed, if you sleep 8 hours a day, and then you spend another 30% looking at email. What a time suck. It fills in all those little spaces of the day and also fills up your brain. You're thinking, did I send that email? Did I get that email? I have 5 minutes before my next meeting. Let me just check my email. And you're late 15 minutes into your meeting. And before you know it, your family and friends have stopped talking to you and your pets have run away. So today I'm going to tell you how to hate Outlook just a little bit less. You can keep your friends and family nearby, and your pets will also still love you. So I scoured the internet for tips on how to use Outlook better. I didn't like any of them. I like my own tips. So here are my 3 tips for you to hate Outlook less and spend less time on it. The first is to turn off your notifications. Just imagine, you're sitting there typing away, getting into the flow, and who comes along? Hey, pay attention to me. Hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, read this joke. Hey, want to share this great article with you? Come on, read me. Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom. Meeting alert, boom, boom, boom. How annoying is that? Very annoying email. Now let me tell you, I will close email and I will still get my meeting alerts. So I'm never late to a meeting. But I definitely turn off the bell, and I definitely turn off that little icon, that little envelope that pops up in my toolbar. Because when I'm working hard, the only reason that I want to get pulled away from email is because I'm bored of what I'm doing and I want to email, not that I have to read email. And in a day of instant messaging, why do we even need to respond to email right away? My rule is to not respond to email, or my rule is to respond to email within 24 hours if it's an emergency, and later if it's not. And with instant messaging, I respond to that almost instantly. And all of my coworkers know this, and if they don't, they've probably learned it by now that I'm not going to respond to email right away because that's not instant messaging. So that's my first tip. Turn off those notifications so that you are not bugged by this little voice in your head saying, check me. The second way to do it is to get your email sorted very quickly. I would like to share a very short demonstration of how I sort my email quickly. Let's hope this works. Great. Okay, you are seeing yourselves. Apologies. Here we are. Does everyone see my Outlook demo? You're going to have to verbally tell me you can see it.
We can see it.
Awesome. So there's no sound, so I'm going to go through it. So this was a few days ago. I have these folders that are already set up, and I quickly move things into folders if it's just a reference. I also move things into places like my to read folder so I can read them later. Anything that's not important, I just go ahead and delete. I have shortcuts over there, my favorites, on active projects that I'm working on. And again, I don't read through things. I just decide within 5 to 10 seconds, what am I going to do with that email? Do I archive it? Do I respond to it? Or do I put it in later? And I also have these shortcuts that I love. These shortcuts help me to create meetings very quickly so I can respond to that email with a meeting invite. I also use the scheduling assistant to make sure that I can find a quick time without using doodle poll or exchanging 5,000 emails on when you are free. I also have shortcuts to respond with triple thumbs up or thanks because I use those responses all the time so I never have to type them. I also like to save things to do later. So I have a create task shortcut, which allows me to respond to this email later or to do this task later. And there you go. My email is done in less than a minute. and I can move on with my day, which includes doing other tasks or responding to email. Here, I am back here. So that is a quick way for me to respond to email. I am an inbox 0 person, but you don't have to be. You don't really have to be an inbox 50 or 1,000. You can have 1,000 emails in your inbox if you want, but my way to do it is to put them into folders so I don't have to look at them, and if I can't see them, then they don't fill up the area in my brain to always be thinking about them. And the last tip I want to give you is to do things later, never now. If you can't respond to an email within 30 seconds, do it later. Because it's not that important. Unless you're a surgeon or some sort of responder, then go ahead, respond to that email right away. But I always find I would like to respond to it later, and I can give it my full attention. So those are my 3 tips for hating Outlook less. Turn off your notifications, use quick tools and filing system, and then always do things later, never now. Outlook has great tools for that. And if you want to know more, you can read Richard Allen's book, Getting Things Done. He changed my life. He changed my Outlook life. And that's where I learned all these tips. So the internet was not helpful at all, except this one book. So thank you again, everyone. And hopefully you can hate Outlook less after this talk.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I want to thank Lisa for giving a wonderful, insightful, and practical speech on how to use Outlook effectively. And I think we all learned something. I certainly learned something. I thought they were actually great tips. Some were obvious, like the use of notifications, muting notifications. I know I should do that, but I'm hesitant to do it. But it's a great tip. But some were less obvious. And I thought they were all really great, delivered with humor and gusto, and you can tell that Lisa practices what she preaches. So it was really great, actually, the demo, to get an insight into her email world. I also want to point out that Lisa used a great deal of vocal variety. I think Nikki said it was such an animated speech, and I think her enthusiasm came through due to her use of vocal variety. I want to comment a little bit on the tips that Lisa gave, muting notifications. I don't think I can do that. The demo was intriguing, but I thought a little bit fast, and I think that was maybe the point. It's supposed to be fast. It's supposed to be so fast I didn't really understand what happened, and I don't think I'm going to be implementing it. But maybe that was part of the speech. And I really particularly like the last tip, which is procrastinate. I love procrastinating. So if you're telling me not to respond to emails right away, I'm going to feel more encouraged about it, even though I'm very hesitant to not respond to emails right away. I'm the type of person that responds right away, whether or not I tried to respond right away, whether or not I need to. So if it entails a more thorough response, I will just say, great, I'll get back to you on this shortly. I don't like to leave people hanging. But I like Lisa's cold-hearted approach. You'll get your response when you get it. If you wanted a faster response, you should have sent me an instant message. I'll try to implement that. I'm not sure how well it'll go because I think I'll just want to say something. As for areas of improvement, I thought the balance of humor was a bit off. In particular, in going through the 3 tips, the first one was delivered with a gag, which I think we all died when you put the email glasses on and made all the annoying email noises. And it really, really brought home how annoying it is to have constant notifications. So I kept expecting more gags, but there weren't more gags. In fact, the rest of the tips were delivered a little more straightforwardly. And I don't know that there's anything wrong with that. I just think maybe it needs to be a little more balanced. I'm not saying do more gags. Maybe instead you could have just done the little notification chime that we all know and love. Or maybe do more gags. I don't know. I did like the gag myself, so I think more gags would have been pretty funny. But overall, I want to say that these were great tips. I think we should all try to implement them in our email lives, although I'm not sure I will. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Nikki.